Howdy doody everybody, today we are talking about Scarlet Nexus, and if you're going to be enjoying and joining us on this crazy, insane game, then this is the video that you're going to need to watch before you start playing. I'm just going to give you some tips on how I feel you'll have the best experience for the first time that you are playing the game, and little things like the game length, the best character to pick, and a couple of other things along the way as you're doing your playthrough that you might worry about, such as do you need to do all the side quests. I'm here with Paradise, that also played Scarlet Nexus to completion.
Finished it. Took a little bit longer than you, but finished it.
Finished it. So, talking about taking a little bit longer, can you talk us through the game length? And how long it took?
Well, first of all, I was surprised by the game length. I would say to anybody, you're looking at a minimum of about 20 hours, and I think that stands true for you. I think you were close to that as well. And to be honest, like, we play any game really, pretty hardcore. Like, we'll just beeline the story. We want to see what the end game's like, see if we're missing anything, unlock different things, stuff like that. So we generally ignore a lot of the side quests, extra things. In this game, it'll be like the companion stuff. We'll talk more about that later. I did do a little bit of exploring in my playthrough, so I was picking up the resources on the map along the way and that sort of stuff. But generally, I was pretty straightforward to the main quest, and it still came in for me at about 22 hours to finish it. How long did it take you to finish it, TwoSix?
It was about 19 hours, and I ended up skipping some of the side cutscenes along the way as well. So this game is long. If you try to experience everything, I can see it being easily 30 to 35 hours of you having content, and that is just one playthrough as well, because there are two different playthroughs with two different perspectives that you can go through. So the game definitely does have a bunch of content in there in terms of the main story time and length, but we'll talk about the side quest and all of that stuff later on, so that you can get a gist for what type of content that you want to be experiencing. But talking about playthroughs, if you're going to pick a character that you're going to be playing as, I would recommend that you pick Kasane over Yuito, because she just has a set roster of teammates and stuff that is easier and better than Yuito when you go to play. So Yuito is the male character, Kasane is the female character. She has, I won't spoil it for you, but a bunch of teammates that have some abilities that you're really going to utilize and make your life so much easier and more enjoyable as you're playing through. Plus, towards the end, there is a kind of mechanic in the game that means that you won't be losing out on that, both aspects of both characters. So once you get to the end, you know what I'm talking about. But pick the lady, and you'll have a great time playing through. What about New Game Plus, Paradise?
Well, before that, I could say you could pick Yuito. He uses a sword, and that's fine, if that's your thing. But Kasane does have floating shurikens that you attack with close and medium range. So it's just a more interesting playstyle, I thought, as someone that's played a lot of games where you hit things with swords.
Yeah. And she's got a load of AoE attacks, and there is a load of times when you're mobbed by monsters in this, and you try to get as much AoE off as possible in the area. Once you complete the game, then you will unlock New Game Plus, so that will allow you to have all your abilities and all the stuff that you've accrued, plus your I think it's your character level carries over and all of that stuff. So if you want to carry on after you've completed, there is a New Game Plus, and you can play the other perspective from New Game Plus if you want to that way. Then I know that you did a lot of side quests as well, because people always worry about this, if they can complete the side quests and go back and do side quests after they've completed a campaign. Paradise, you might be able to answer this one.
Yeah, so, well, first of all, it took me a while to figure out where the side quests were. So as you go through the game, you'll get certain almost safe areas, little areas of the city or different places like that, where you can just explore, and there's no monsters, there's no others. And in those areas, you want to look out for these little sideways, slanted white squares, and those are the people that give side quests. And I was like, okay, I'll try a few of these out. And what the side quests basically are is they're bounties. It's you pick up the quest, it's go and kill this monster twice by doing this thing. And she's like, okay, so you go and do that. It even tells you the reward before you do it. And to be honest, most of them is like, it gives you like a potion, or like the equivalent of a potion, or it gives you, they're called jellies. Or it gives you like a weapon for your companion. But the thing is, you can craft like everything that is in these side quests that I've seen so far. So I would say if you don't care about that, just ignore them. But at the very least, you could pick them up and you'll passively like complete most of them anyway, since it's just about like killing others in certain ways, which you're probably going to end up doing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say there's any pressure. Like, you don't need to do them. You're not missing anything if you leave them out, at least from my experience. And I think, if I'm remembering correctly, once you actually finish the game, it opens up more side quests for you to do as well before going into New Game Plus. I think I remember that was like a thing that pop up afterwards. So there are side quests to do, but I wouldn't say they're massively important. It will add more playtime to your experience there.
Mm-hmm. So the side quests are definitely there for you to do, and they are good for getting like weapons and additional like gifts to give to your characters and your side characters and your companions during the thing. But they're not they're not like going to be a whole piece of content that you're going to do in terms of like story and plot development or anything like that. So don't worry about the side quest too much. I didn't do a single one the whole time that I was playing, and I don't feel like I missed out on anything massively after going back and seeing what they actually are upon post completion as well. So I would say one of my biggest tips for it is go for the XP stuff in the tree. The more XP that you have and the more XP stuff in the brain tree, as you say, you'll be able to get your abilities a lot quicker, and you'll be able to do a lot more stuff. And once you level up, you just unlock some crazy stuff and the combat starts to flow a lot more. Is there any skills in particular that you feel like people should go for, like Paradise?
Yeah, so there's a couple that I would really recommend that will like really help you. There's two separate skills that allow you to use an extra SAS, which is like a party member buff, at the same time, like concurrently. So for example, sometimes you would, without spoiling the companions' abilities, there are certain companions that combo together really well, and if you don't have that skill, you can't use them at the same time, which doesn't let you combo them, right? And then outside of that, there's another skill that you can get, which is where once you've broken an enemy's brain crush bar, it's like the orange bar under their health, to then go for an execute. There's a skill that makes those executes add more time onto your active companion buffs. So there are certain buffs that they drain pretty quickly, and as long as you're executing, you can keep it up for almost the entire fight. So they're the two that I would recommend.
Yeah. And then the last thing that we have to kind of really like drill in before you play your game to have the best experiences, do your bond quest. So throughout the game, you're sent back to a hideout, and that's where you can interact with your companions as much as possible. Within that time, you can give them gifts in there to kind of increase their like affection for you and your relationship with them. And you're also given these kind of plot quest scenes, so you don't need to necessarily watch them because there aren't fully like involved with the main storyline, but they do have a lot of character development in them. And if you are enjoying the game for the experience, then this will definitely add to it, because there are a load of like nuanced aspects, such as their relationships with like their background and their lore with these characters as well. So do watch them, but if you do skip them, which we did towards the end because we noticed that they're more like character development side stuff.
It's like the fluff episode of the anime.
They're more like filler episodes, as Paradise was saying, of like the animes. Then you can do that without too much of it impacting your main storyline, essentially. So, but do them because they level up your character's abilities, those companion abilities, and they get better over time, such as increasing the efficiency of their recharge rates and all of that stuff. So definitely level them up as quickly as possible. And before I actually leave, I just want to give this broad overview of the story. Not going to go into spoilers, but just a starting thing for the story so that you know where you're starting off. It's basically, you're part of a group called the OSF. They're like some psychics that just want to fight some crazy creature monster things called the Others. That's the main story. All of this stuff is a mystery. and you're trying to find out more of that. There's two main characters, Kasane and Yureto. You pick one of them, go ahead, have fun. This game is full of... I'm not even saying anything. just play the game. Just play the game and you'll see what we're talking about. Anyway, Paradise, is there any videos that you're putting out today?
Yeah, so my impressions will be going out on my channel for Scarlet Nexus. I go a little bit more in depth on a few different topics, like going into like talking about the combat and just my thoughts on a few different things with the game. Outside of that, there'll be more videos coming soon, so and on your channel as well. So make sure you guys stay tuned.
Yeah, so definitely stay tuned to all of that stuff. I feel like I need to make a whole video on the actual story because it's actually, yeah. So we'll probably be back with that in the future for you guys. And enjoy and definitely subscribe to the channel if you like this video, and subscribe so that you can catch more Scarlet Nexus and all the games in the future. Bye bye.
Bye bye.